The fact that white people were literally broke as fuck during the Great Depression and black people had the most wealth in this country should tell you something. But something I did not know, just literally, well, excuse me, black Americans, people love calling us lazy. I saw a comment and they were basically talking about how the reason why so many black people have Cadillacs is because Cadillac were the only people that would sell to us. And so me, I'm not the type to just listen to something and agree with it. So I ran to Google. The truth is Cadillac, along with other luxury brand vehicles, they would not sell to black people and they literally had to get a white person to buy the vehicle for them. Now, what's even more crazier is most of these luxury car brands, along with Cadillac, were about to go bye-bye in the 1930s because white people were broke. So what Cadillac did to save their asses was they lifted their discriminatory sales ban, and that is what allowed black people to come in and buy their vehicles themselves because they were paying in cash. No loans, cash. So when other luxury brands saw this, they did the same thing. Black people literally saved most of these luxury car brands from going bye-bye. It's always us.
It's crazy that y'all living luxurious on stolen land. It's crazy that y'all giving the $5 Indians our reparation. It's crazy that y'all over here poisoning our food, poisoning our kids, poisoning our... Y'all think y'all gonna be that busu pantuara? My ancestors ain't playing with y'all. Y'all think it's a game? Y'all think it's a game? Y'all think our ancestors' blood that's been shed, the tears that's been shed, it's not gonna affect you? It's not gonna affect your bloodline? Keep playing. Keep playing. Keep being delusional. Keep sitting around thinking that nothing's gonna harm you. Keep being denied. Keep my ass is gonna have a field day with y'all. Ashe.
Letting them is crazy, but I'm actually very glad that you commented this because we need to unpack this. As a culture, I don't think you guys realize the psychological impact or the psychological implications that we have to face as Black Americans in America. When we be on here and we say the whole world against us, it's because we feel like the whole world is against us because they technically are, because they've been taught. Like, I don't think y'all realize this. The entire world has been taught that we are less than, that we are aggressive, that we are the problem. You feel me? Like, the whole world has been taught that we are a problem. They've been taught that we're uneducated. They've been taught that we're aggressive, that we're inhumane. This is the images that have been spread across the world of Black Americans. We know that that's not true, but that is the image that has been portrayed. So saying that we let them, especially when, in order to erase a culture, it can go anywhere from 10 years to a couple of decades, meaning the erasure started with your great-great-grandmother. And that systematic assimilation has been passed down to you by way of your ancestors. Not that they were purposely trying to assimilate you, but a lot of the assimilation of our people depended on our survival. You get what I'm saying? A lot of the erasure of our culture depended on the survival. You feel me? And a lot of y'all get on here and y'all quick to turn us into the problem. Even our own people. I get so many comments like this. Oh, well, we let them, and if we stood up, or if we did this, and if we're still unpacking the fact that we have been traumatized by this. We're still unpacking the fact that we have to live in a society with the same people that oppressed and killed our ancestors. We have to live with the fact that we live in a society where we're treated as second-class citizens in our own land. And a lot of us have just realized that this is our own land. You get what I'm saying? And there's still people, Black Americans, like actual Black Americans whose family's lineage is from here, that don't believe that they come from here. They still believe the lies that have been perpetrated against us. They still believe that we come from somewhere else, and that's a part of the erasure. Do you know why the Haitians were able to overthrow the French the way that they did? It's because they were able to use their connection to the land, use the resources that they were provided in order to defeat the French. You don't think they learned from that? Which is why they have disconnected us from our land and stated that anything that comes from us has to have an influence from somewhere else so that they could place us somewhere else. Y'all don't see the connection? And even past that, at one point in this history, they were criminalizing and murdering our ancestors for claiming their heritage. They were criminalizing and murdering our ancestors for claiming their heritage. Y'all don't understand that the social pressures, the assimilation of our people to fit a social norm has an actual psychological effect on the people that are in that culture, because that means that we are like that orphan child. We're lost. We don't know where we belong. We're trying to find our way in this life. That's a part of the healing process. Anger, self-reflect, all of that is a part of the healing process. Is like, I don't think y'all realize we are actively healing. So the stages that you go through to heal is what we're going through as a culture. So placing the blame on us and saying that we allow them to do what they've systematically assimilated us to do is crazy. Like, we all had the same life because they made it that way. They made it to where you were born and went straight to school. You were born. You didn't have time to learn yourself, learn your environment, learn an innate truth of who you are. You went straight to school and you learned what they taught you. You get what I'm saying? Your parents learned what they taught them. And when you as a parent learn certain things, you pass that along to your children. I remember when they were killing, I ain't gonna say were because they're still killing us, but I remember when it became visible to a lot of blacks in America that they were still, the police were still brutalizing us, murdering us. Like, when it became a mainstream thing, you literally had people on social media trying to help other parents to protect their children, not understanding that's a part of the assimilation. Installing the fear and then making that culture be fearful of speaking out or be fearful of, like, you had people that were afraid to get pulled over that literally would have panic attacks because white police officers were pulling them over because they were taught that the police is right and that you don't fight against the police, when in fact at that point we should have risen up then. But because we're still in a state of healing, because we're still in this mask of we don't even belong here, so we have to do what they say, which is a bald-faced fucking lie. At that point, we should have risen up and started to actually be in battle, actually be in combat, because we've been programmed to not fight back, especially in regards to religion, because religion teaches you to turn the other cheek. Like, Christianity teaches you to turn the other cheek, and I don't think Christians know that. But all of that is purposeful. They create, like, I made a video once before, and I meant what the fuck I said. They've taught you to be obedient to their God, be obedient to their beliefs, so that they can continue to oppress you. You get what I'm saying? Like, even in the Bible, it tells you to honor your master. They're your master. And you're unconsciously honoring them, even by saying that we let them. You're unconsciously honoring them because we don't let them do a motherfucking thing. We're just now really unveiling who we are. We're just now getting to the point to where we can start to take back our power. We're just not getting, we still have a stigma around black fucking spirituality. Like, y'all still call black women who practice spirituality woo-woo. Like, y'all still make fun of people for tapping into divine energy, divine essence. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this is still something that we're uncovering as a culture. This is still something that we're healing from as a culture. The implications of them erasing us and displacing us is real. You know, we are known for our perseverance. We're known for being able to adapt gracefully to environments that are not ideal for us. And because of that perseverance, because of that gracefulness, because of that ability to adapt, people outside of us and even people within our own communities don't see us as the victim. And although I would never claim to be a victim because I have the ability, again, to persevere, overcome, and adapt, the reality is that we are victims. The reality is that we're continually being victimized against. The reality is the whole world joins in on that victimization because they don't understand that we are literally being oppressed, suppressed, and erased, because they're reaping the benefits of that oppression.
I'm fighting for my life right now against every white hip-hop head with a stringy ass middle part on Instagram, because On the Radar posted that thick white girl rapping, and I commented and I said, please, no more white rappers, it's been enough. People are in my comments talking about rap doesn't belong to one race and you sound dumb, and there's even black people talking about, oh, she gets a pass because it sounds good. You niggas have low racial self-esteem, and that's a problem you gotta work on. Black people be so quick to, oh, but it sounds good, it sounds good. Duh, dummy, it sounds good because she stole her whole look, sound, flow from black people. This is why it sounds good, because she studied us and copied us and is selling the shit right back to us. One black man was in the comments talking about, oh, I haven't heard nothing like this since 2005, Lil' Kim and Missy Elliott. I commented back, I said, Doechii literally exists. This shit is so insulting, and I'm so sick of it, actually, and y'all will hype anything as long as it's in some white skin. The only white rapper I go hard for is Mac Miller, and you bitches are not Mac Miller. You not even Rack Riller, bitch. Get out of here.
Let me tell you another thing them pink folks doing. Please don't fall for it, okay? We don't need you pink folks to come tell us who is the real Black Jesus, Black Yeshua, who is the real Jews, who is the real Israelite, who is the real people the Bible talking about. We don't need y'all to do that. We need for you all to talk about what your ancestors did, what your ancestors' nature was. That's what we need y'all to talk about. We gonna talk about our story. Mystery, my story. Y'all talk about your story, your ancestors, your cultural, your behavior. You see, your actions, your energy, your frequency, your vibration. That's what y'all need to come online and talk about. We don't need y'all to tell our story. We are going to tell our story because we know our story. We walked in those shoes. We experienced it, not y'all. So you cannot tell our story, but you can tell your story. You see, y'all got to see them for who they are. The narcissist will never take accountability for their actions. We need y'all to tell your story, okay? Tell your children your story. Tell your future generation your story. And we're going to tell our future generations our story. So be mindful of them who want to come and tell us the truth now. How did you find out the truth? Okay? You're telling us the truth. But how? How did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. You see? We wasn't supposed to be here. So go find out how we got here, the mystery. Who caused us to be here? You see? Who's behind us being here? Tell that story then. That's what we want to hear. That story from y'all. And we're going to tell our story, our culture, our ancestrals. You see? And how they lived. And what they did. And what they said. Y'all tell the story about y'all people. Go do research and find out about the Roman gods, the Roman ancestors, you see, the Roman people. Y'all don't know nothing about them indigenous people, so you can't tell a story. How you gonna talk about something you ain't never experienced? See, that's how we got here. Trying to tell a story about something they never experienced. That's how it got jacked up. You see? That's how it became buffoonery. That's how it became shenanigans. That's how it became hocus pocus. You see? because they wanted to tell this story. You can't do that. You can only tell your life experiences, you see? And your life experiences was uncivilized behaviors, you see? Unconscionable, unchristlike behaviors. There is no God in somebody that would do the things that was done by these people. Ain't no God in there. None. Straight up in the ego, straight up in your shadow side, straight up in your lower nature. If you are going to say that type of behavior was acceptable, it was legal. You see? In the name of God. The devil is a liar, and the truth is not in him. The truth is in us. We've been trying to speak the truth. Y'all didn't put them physical muzzles on us, you see, but you passed them laws, executive orders, guidelines, and rules, and policies, and statutes to silence us, putting fear out there, jailing us, you see, redlining, Jim Crowing, so we can shut up. So again, be very mindful of the people who want to tell other people's story. You can't tell our story. You can only tell your story. Please let that sizzle in your spirit. Please let that sizzle in your spirit if you got one. Because you got a lot of people walking around here. Zombies, bots, you see, empty, shallow, around here trying to tell somebody how life is supposed to be. A lot of y'all going to lose that. You're going to lose that because you took that. He that letteth into captivity shall go into captivity. I'm just a messenger here to make you think.
And a lot of the problem is that y'all were taught the PG version of Jim Crow. Marches, hymns, a dream. Nice, neat little timeline with nice, neat little heroes. What they didn't teach you is that Jim Crow was domestic occupation. Slow, state-sanctioned violence and terror dressed up as law and order. So I'm going to tell y'all what Jim Crow really was. Jim Crow meant law was a weapon. Black folk were arrested for existing incorrectly. Literally. Vagrancy, loitering, looking suspicious, speaking too loudly, speaking back to a white person, addressing a white person the wrong way, not stepping off the sidewalk for a white person or not stepping off the sidewalk fast enough for that white person's liking. The law did not protect us. The law hunted us. Now the police were the enforcers of the racial hierarchy. Sheriffs and deputies worked hand in hand with white mobs. If the Klan wanted you, the police made sure the door was unlocked, and they looked the other way while your body was swinging from a tree. Now let's talk about the economic strangulation of the black community. Y'all heard about sharecropping, right? Yeah, sharecropping was not farming. It was debt slavery. Debts were lied about, wages were stolen, land was stolen, and any sort of black prosperity was punished. Black success was basically treated like a crime scene. And I know how they like to make y'all think that sharecropping was so long ago, but let me educate y'all real quick. This is my great-grandpa Jack holding my grandmother. My grandmother was born in the early 50s. Yeah, my grandmother was born under Jim Crow. Okay. Now, one thing they really liked to do in the Jim Crow South was use public terror as a warning system. Y'all heard strange fruit, right? Well, lynching wasn't random white violence on black bodies. It was theater. It was performance. It was postcards. It was crowds. It was children watching. It was gathering at the feet of a burned black body after church on Sunday, then splitting the body part up into pieces to take home as souvenirs. A lot of which some of y'all's grandparents have up in their attics. The message was stay in your place or die loudly, be made an example of. Y'all remember that scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where they open up with the pirate Jack Sparrow coming in and he sees the 3 pirates hanging and it says pirates ye be warned. That's real shit, y'all, but it happened to us at the hands of white people in Jim Crow America. They were eating the bodies too. They don't tell y'all that in 4th grade social studies. Then there was voter suppression, poll taxes, literary tests, grandfather clauses, and violence at the polls. Anything to keep a black body from voting. Anything from keeping a black voice being heard. It was like democracy was a private whites-only club, and black folk were the targets of the club's bouncers. The Klan, the police, slave catchers, you get the gist. And then there comes the peace marches, right? Well, then peace marches were met with brutality, with water hoses, with dogs, with beatings, batons, jails. The state wanted obedience, not justice. Jim Crow was about hatred, it was about racism, and it was also about control. And once again, we are seeing the criminalization of identities and existences. We are seeing militarized police, government agencies, state-sanctioned violence, peaceful protests being met with brutality, police brutality. We're seeing selective enforcement of the law. White supremacists get a slap on the wrist with kid gloves. Black and brown bodies get boots on our necks. Same imbalance, different uniforms, updated even. We're seeing state propaganda. Jim Crow said separate but equal. Today it's law and order, border security, public safety, same lie, different font. We're seeing them use economic pressure as punishment. Non-white communities, black and brown communities are being starved of resources, then blamed for starving. Aid is being stripped away. Housing unstable or denied completely. They taught Jim Crow ended as if America had a heart, like a change of heart. When segregation ended and black people were put in the mix with white people were not deconditioned of their white supremacy. They were not stripped of their racism. All of that hateful mentality was remained intact. And we were thrown in the mix with them to coexist. America was never ready for us to live side by side. America did not ever have a change of heart. And it's been trying to creep back to the way things were ever since. Jim Crow only ended on paper because it became internationally embarrassing and economically inconvenient. But that mindset, baby, that never left. It just learned how to use courts, algorithms, and federal agencies to try to get back the control it feels it lost. Again, this is not 1930s Germany, baby. What the Yazidis did in Germany is the child of Jim Crow and white America in the South. It's literally what they learned from watching the way white people treated black Americans all throughout America's history, the way we treated Asian Americans with internment camps, the way they treated indigenous Americans with genocide, Trail of Tears, all of these broken treaties. Baby, this is the way America's always been. This is the DNA of America. It's never changed. This is America being America. This is her being true to who she really is. They never wanted us here. If it wasn't to be beneath their boots. Because they still believe that bullshit-ass lie while they worship their god of war, that this land belongs to them, that it was promised to them. Ooh, not a land promised to some chosen Europeans. That sounds awfully similar to is not real. We are back in Jim Crow America. The same racial hierarchy, the same math, the same power structure, the same belief that some lives are disposable under law and order. So here we are again, and history is asking y'all to make a choice. And if you make a choice, even if it's a choice not to look, baby, that's still a choice. At the end of the day, it's always been about race. It's always been about white people's need to feel like they have an attachment to something. The white people who came here to Turtle Island was not Europe's best. It was their trash, their criminals, their thieves, their liars. And they bought into the lie that they created, that they are better and more deserving than the people who were here first, than the original humans, the blueprint of humanity. And they've been sniffing their own bullshit so long that equality feels like oppression. No longer having the monopoly on things feels like reverse racism, which is not a motherfucking thing. It all boils down to the fact that white people cannot coexist with people that they mentally deem less than themselves. That is the root of this fucking problem, racism. Y'all laughed, y'all scoffed, y'all told us, oh, shut up, it ain't that deep. Every time we told you it's always about race, and every fucking thing is about race. Do you believe us now? It don't matter how many white women get shot. It's still gonna be about race every fucking time. Just like in Jim Crow, any nigga lover that stood in the way got shot the fuck up too. White or not, you got arrested alongside the activist too. I heard somebody say John Brown? Yeah, y'all gotta get up to date with what's actually going on. Maybe now y'all are ready to listen to black women, to black voices, to brown voices. We've been through this before. Y'all just waking up. The house been on fire, y'all just not smelling the smoke. So don't try to come and tell us about, oh, this is 1930s Germany. Oh no, baby, we've been living with the remnants, the looming poison of Jim Crow and the children of the Civil War who never got over the fact that they lost. This has been our everyday experience. Where have you been? The police system and police have always been the slave patrol. Now we've got DHS and ICE law enforcement agencies. That is still slave patrol. But you're just now noticing it's just now clicking because everybody can get the smoke now. Well, welcome. Welcome to 2026 Jim Crow.
There will always be crime as long as white people exist. It's not even that hard to see this shit. Policing is a scam. The whole police shit is a scam because as long as white people exist, there's gonna always be crime everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere there are white people, there begets crime. White people go places, steal, rob, pillage, and people have to defend themselves, but white people gonna consider that crime because to them, fighting against them and fighting back, that's crime. Doing anything that ain't according to white people saying so is a crime to them. And we only have to do all of this stealing and being unfair to each other because white people. You cannot have, there will never be peace on earth as long as white people are on earth. That's just a fact. We gotta face that, bruh. As long as these aliens exist, bruh, we will always be in grave danger. The planet will always be in grave danger. Nature will always be in grave danger. And there will always be crime because we will never stop fucking fighting. Only way there's gonna be peace again ever is for nature to rule again. Motherfucker, these crackers gotta stand down. Get out of their place and let nature decide who controls what and who ordains what, motherfucker. Thank you.
I automatically turn my ears off when I hear a white person say, slavery was so long ago, like we didn't do that. That was our ancestors. Ha! And just like black folks can pass down trauma, can inherit trauma, white folks can absolutely pass down racism. Why do you think your mayonnaise Meemaw and your Peckerwood Papaw, when they get dementia and Alzheimer's and they in that nursing home, they will forget their name, they mammy's name, they pappy's name, they children's name, because all that was learned over the years. But they will never forget that a black person is a nigga because it ain't on them, it's in them. You know what I'm saying? The inherent dislike, the inherent hatred of black and brown people is in their blood, is in their DNA. You don't believe me? Just look around you.